Welcome everybody to Eoreza Minute, a news and discussion show for Final Fantasy XIV. And today's topic of discussion is the Forbidden Lands Eureka, and why you really shouldn't worry about it. And why are people worried about it? Mainly, for whatever reason, people think it's going to be a lot like a diadem, or diadem, however you want to pronounce it, which came out when Heaven's Ward launched, or at least in 4.1, and it was incredibly boring. And they planned on expanding it and thinking that, oh, people are going to do this the whole time. People stopped doing it in like 2 weeks. Because all you could do there was just farm random monsters and get crappy pink gear that nobody wanted. And you could trade the pink gear in for crap that also nobody wanted. So, what makes Eureka different? This is its own little area. Well, mainly what makes Eureka a lot different is one, it's going to have its own little story with this area. We're going to be dealing with Cryle and her investigation on supposedly the Isle of Val, and what we know from the 2.5 story, that there was some sort of disturbance. I think it was an explosion or something, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to lead into that. Maybe there's something else. We'll have to see. But another thing that separates Eureka from the diadem is that we're going to be doing relics. We're doing all the fun, joyous, happy relic grinding all in Eureka. And not just relics, but we all are going to get relic armor. We'll talk about that in a bit. With Eureka, hopefully that it'll be a success, which it probably will. They will be adding new zones, which I think will just be one area. It might have a connecting area, but I'm not too sure. They really haven't shown too much to that, but I think it will just be one big map. And the main thing that everybody's also kind of worried about it is, holy crap, has this place been delayed time and time again? This was originally going to be out in a 4.1 patch, but was delayed to 4.15, then was delayed to 4.2, which then is finally going to be to 4.25, which is only about a week away. So, outside of the relics, which the first state of the relic armor, at least I'm pretty sure it's going to be the relic armor, will finally be the dyeable artifact gear, which is the gear you got for doing the level 70 class quest for that given class. And this time it'll finally be dyeable, so you can change its color and all that fun, glamourable goodness. Now I keep hearing a lot of people going, oh, you can go to the Calamity Salvager to get the armor back. You're not going to need that. You're not going to need the armor to get the new relics. With the Heaven's Ward relics, the first stage of the relic was the artifact weapon from that game, and you didn't need it to do the relic quest. So you're not going to need anything to get the relic, so you're not going to need any weapons or any specific armor. So you can just come in there with what you got and get your goodies. Another thing is the name that a lot of people are also wondering, is that while it is called the Forbidden Lands Eureka, it also shared an area with Final Fantasy III, that underneath the Crystal Tower was a dungeon called Eureka, the Forbidden Lands. And they've stated multiple times that has no connection, especially since we actually do have the Crystal Tower which was from Final Fantasy 3 in Final Fantasy 14. It was the first raid in A Realm Reborn. But again, it will have no connection and will be completely its own thing, especially seeing that this Eureka will be outside. We'll be dealing with different elements. The first one will be a disruption of wind, so the whole area is going to be all windy. Where Eureka, the Forbidden Lands in Final Fantasy 3 took place in a cave. You really can't expand too much in a dark cave. And here we're going to be grinding out monsters for items and then use those items in some way to upgrade a relic, where the other ones were in Final Fantasy 3, you would just go up to an item, go, oh, that's the super powerful item for, warrior. And then you would fight a boss, and then you beat that boss, you get the axe, or you get whatever. But again, this one's going to be different, and it also starts in Kugane, so definitely not in a cave. But another Final Fantasy game that everybody's looking at, that I think it's going to feel more like, will be Final Fantasy XI. While I haven't played Final Fantasy XI, for what I know of it, and at least what I can kind of tell from it, was that it was a hard game. At least a hard game to solo. You couldn't just go out and just do whatever you wanted alone, similar to what you can with this game. Is you pretty much needed a group, or at least needed some other people, or you're gonna get murdered by some fluffy bunnies, as everything could apparently kill you very easily. Which pretty much is gonna be how they said this is going to be. While you can solo it, you're gonna have a bad time. So they're gonna want you to join up with other people. You can use the party finder, you can use looking for group, they said. And we'll have its own little meeting area with an aetherite, so hopefully getting groups together shouldn't be too hard, as you'll be able to have 144 people in a given instance. So, and of course you can just get a group before you go in, which is what most likely other people are going to do. But also, like Final Fantasy XI, you could also level down. So it's going to have its own leveling structure. You're going to have a element level that you can level up, and you can put that into which essentially will be your strength and resistance to a given element, as elements will now play an effect. You'll have an element wheel that you can power up to give yourself a up to 100% defense and offensive boost for a given element, and enemies will also have elements themselves, so you're gonna want to play a rock, paper, scissors aspect, something like fire melting an ice attack, doing more damage to that, lightning doing more damage to a water type monster, things of that nature. But you'll also have an element wheel. With the wheel, you'll be able to move it around, so you don't need to respec, and you can just change what element you are on top of, or which one's going to be your main element to use. Another thing that gets people to think that it's going to be more like Final Fantasy XI is there straight up an unlockable Final Fantasy XI armor set you can get as some goodies. Whether that's going to be part of the relic armor, I don't know. There could be other goodies such as minions, mounts. It was also said they were going to have other gear that will have their role restrictions removed, which means possibly maybe gathering and crafting classes could be glamourable for everybody. Which, for the Korean server, they have their own shops, their own Mog Station stuff, and on there, they actually have the glamourable gathering classes and crafting classes for the Heavensward gear. So you can have a battle chef, and you can wear the weaver coat for any class. So it might be something like that, as some people were asking for, glamourable crafting gear and gathering gear. So we'll have to see what gear they do decide to have that will be have its role restricted so that any class can glamour it or use it. Whether it has stats or not, I have no idea. So again, people look at the longevity. Going back to Diadem, Diadem died so quickly because there was just nothing to do. You just went in, you killed a bunch of monsters, you got crappy gear, and even when they updated it, you had small objectives that were fun to do it a couple of times, and it was really nothing to keep you going back to it, though. You just had a bunch of crappy gear and tokens that just gave you more tokens that you didn't really do much with. But here, it's gonna be the area that has the relics, and people are going to do it. People are going to grind it. I know I'm gonna grind all the damn relics because people want shiny weapons. I mean, look at Binding Coil of Bahamut, the new ultimate mode. Yes, it's a new challenging thing, but what's its prize? Shiny gold weapons of a weapon that already exists in the game. So you're telling me you can get some cool shiny weapons for grinding out some stuff in Eureka? If people are gonna do it, and there's going to be so many different classes to do it with, people are going to do it. You're not gonna find a shortage of people doing this stuff. But with all the worrying, there is one thing that I have a bit of worry. Since this is all going to be taking place in Eureka to do all the relic steps, what are those steps going to be? Because if everything's there, if everything's in Eureka, is there not going to be a light farming type step? Or are dungeons not going to be a thing when upgrading it? Are we still going to use, get items from a dungeon, maybe just running it, or having, again, some type of light farm, or maybe you need crafting items like older relics have needed. But we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But the best part here is you don't have to wait much longer. Again, it's finally coming out. We finally get to see what all the hubbub is gonna be about. So, you guys happy with what Eureka's going to be? Are you still worried it's gonna be shit? Why do you think it's gonna be shit? Or do you think it's gonna be good? And why do you think? Why don't you leave a comment down below? Tell me how you're feeling. And make sure to like and, well, obviously comment and subscribe to see more episodes of Eoreza a Minute. So I'll keep you updated on what all is happening in the wonderful world of Final Fantasy XIV. Y'all have a good day.